Hello, everyone, and welcome into Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphries, and tonight we are going to get to know our opponent for the 2025 college football season opener for the Kentucky Wildcats. Joining me this evening is Dan, don't call me Macho Man Randy Savage, Dan Rocketman Savage. Dan, thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Glad to be here, man. There's like 15 of you guys have been trying to follow all summer just to get all the Kentucky news I can, and it's glad to be here and finally be talking ball here. 8 days out for game one.
Yes, it's crazy, man. It's almost here. We've been talking, seems like forever about this. And Kentucky fans, including myself, are kind of nervous about this first game of the season. I'm not going to lie. I don't know who scheduled Toledo to begin the season for Kentucky this year, but I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well, yeah, it's originally supposed to be a 3-for-1. So, I mean, if we're gonna get somebody at home, I guess I'll take it. But if we feel like if we can win any of these games, you guys are not coming to the Glass Bowl for that final game. So hopefully on your end, I mean, I guess a little shade of victory would be if we lose. At least we'll see Kentucky in 4 years at home. But who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Kentucky has had those before, and they've bought them out. So I mean, we'll see. But definitely, I definitely wouldn't want to play in the Glass Bowl because I mean, Toledo's consistent every year, and Kentucky right now, just Kentucky's really a mystery this season. This is one of the seasons that they're coming into that you really don't know what you've got with this team. I mean, you know some of the players and some of the transfers. A lot of players left last year, some key players, and this year it's just a big mystery for Kentucky.
Yeah, I've heard that you guys don't even know if it's going to be Cutter or Calzada, and wide receiver room seems like there's not a one that has emerged. So as a Toledo fan, that's good news.
Yeah, I expect Calzada probably to get the start, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cutter plays some in that game. Just saying. I mean, if Toledo's got a lead like at halftime, Cutter may make an appearance early on,
We got to be ready for both, that's for sure.
and then I think Kentucky's going to probably lean heavily on the run this year, is what I believe. So I don't think that they've got a whole lot going with that quarterback and the receiver room. Really, I think it's going to be run heavy, and that's what Mark Stoops built this program on to begin with.
Yeah, I
So
mean, and Toledo's best spot on the defense is definitely the back end. We've got multiple NFL prospects back there. Seems like it's kind of what Toledo's been doing in the last 5-8 years. Is just throwing dudes in the NFL from that safety and corner position. So we're new at linebacker. So if you guys are going to test us, probably a great time to try.
yeah, it would be interesting. Before we get into this upcoming season, I want to take you back a few seasons. Sports betting became legal in Kentucky in September 2023. I started watching some action football on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And there was one team that I could count on, and that was the Toledo Rockets and quarterback DeQuan Finn and running back Penny Boone. Anytime I seen them playing on a Tuesday or Wednesday night, I put a prop bet down on, and they usually came through for me. Penny Boone, there was talk that Penny Boone was coming to UK, and I was like, "Yeah, get that guy." The only reason I know this guy is because I watched a lot of action ball. He ended up not going, ended up going to UCF, and I believe Finn transferred to Baylor. Maybe he's back at Miami this year, and that's kind of weird, isn't it?
I mean, there wasn't a spot for him back at Toledo. I kind of feel like you go to Toledo for 5 years, you get your degree, and head on for greener pastures. Good luck. But now that he's back in the MAC, we got to play him on a midweek game. There'll be some high emotions for that one. I guarantee it.
No doubt about it. Did he have much success at Baylor last year? Did he play or anything?
He started the first game. He had 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. He played okay. And then in the second game, he got hurt. And then the other dude, I forget his name, just had an amazing year. So he kind of just got stuck on the depth chart at number 2 and couldn't make another move. And now he's back here.
He's back in the MAC. So Toledo, they're coached by Jason Candle. It's his 10th season, right? Is his 10th season? So they've got some consistency in that program right there. What do you think about Candle? I've seen some talk where they say that they don't feel like he can win some of the games he should win.
Yeah, he's definitely better with extra prep time, and he's better as an underdog. And Toledo's favored by 14, 15 against the middle or bottom of the MAC. That's when you got to take the other side. Generally, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just, the season gets too long and you can't really get excited for Central Michigan or Akron or whatever. But in general, I mean, 73-40 is a pretty damn good record. The next best record in the MAC is Pete Lembo, who's only been at Buffalo for a year. And Miami of Ohio's coach, Chuck Martin, he's 2 under 500. So we've got 30-some game lead on, head coaches. When Toledo fans say that they're sick of him and we can't win the big game. You just got to tell him to shut up and look at the records because you're not going to do much better. The fact that you've got a guy that stayed here for 10 years as the head coach and he was an assistant since 2009. I mean, the dude's a Toledo legend at this point.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's hard to get a team, a coach to stay at, a mid-major school like that for that long, 10 years, and to be consistently good. Like, they're always in the conversation to win the MAC or to be in, the MAC championship. And, he's been at the Toledo for 10 years. And then, this is a battle of some long tenured coaches right here. Mark Stoops has been at Kentucky now for 13, 14 seasons, I think. Yeah. So, and he's the longest tenured SEC head coach. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know, but he's been consistent up until last year. So, I mean, it's a battle of consistent coaches, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and Candle's turned down the Miami offensive coordinator job. He turned down the Notre Dame offensive coordinator job. There were rumors about Ohio State 2-3 years ago, and I feel like you can make $1.5 million go pretty far here in Toledo. It's one of the cheaper cities in America to live in. So he loves where he's at. He's got the same, OC, DC, same crew together for the last 6 years. So not even to lose a coordinator,
that's
then
amazing.
Add on the fact that returning production this year is really high for Toledo. Like, you're not going to find too many teams like that you can really bet on that is going to be at least has a floor of a pretty high floor, and that's what we have at Toledo. So I'm excited.
And to think there's an outside shot if they have the season that you're all hoping to have of making the college football playoff, and he didn't have to go anywhere to get there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier at a G5 school if you're one of the top 2 or 3 in the league than a Purdue or something like that. I mean, a lot of teams only have a ceiling of 6, 7 wins, and I mean, I think Kentucky's ceiling's actually a little bit higher. I mean, we've seen 10 wins there, but hell, you guys might have 7 teams in the playoffs here the next few years if it keeps expanding.
We'll table that for another time. With the expansion to maybe 28 playoff teams, it's like, what are we even thinking about here, guys?
You can blame
is
the
there
Big
even
Ten
a
on
point
that. That's bad.
The Big Ten trying to take over college football and ruin it. I mean, just it's too much. It's too much playoffs.
Agree.
12's good. 16 may be fine. Other than that, don't push it past that. It's like the NCAA tournament. They're wanting to expand it to 72 and 76 teams. It's like 68's fine. No need for any more.
I thought 64 was fine there, but hey.
Absolutely. 64. It's just, I don't know. They're trying to just more money. It's all it is. That's all it's about. So let's talk about offense for the Toledo Rockets, and let's start out with quarterback Tucker Gleason.
Tucker's an interesting fella. He was a top 30 quarterback in his class, I believe, of 2019. He went to Georgia Tech. I mean, if you watch him play, he was a really good runner in high school, and he was recruited under the Georgia Tech coach that kind of ran the triple option. And after year 1, that coach got fired, and then Tucker found his way here. And he sat behind DeQuan Finn for a few years, stepped in some really big moments as second-year freshman and a third-year sophomore, and how all the years got screwed up. And now is his time. He's got a solid arm. I think his passing percentage could be better. He only threw 60% last year. He was 56, I think, the year before that. So he's got to do a better job at hitting his targets. With his big frame, he's a hoss. He gets going downhill. He's really tough to tackle. He's been blessed with some really good wide receivers, though. We just lost Jawan Newton and a big 6'7" Anthony Torres at tight end, and they helped him out and bailed him out many, many times. But even last year, there were some games where he wasn't playing very well. And we went to the backup, and a lot of fans kind of liked what they saw in the backup more. John Allen Richter, he's just a gunslinger. Like, he can throw it 70 yards. And this Toledo team, as great as Tucker Gleason is, and we don't really go over the top. We run like little seam routes, and then we let the wide receivers do the rest. So you're not going to see a lot of long balls or go routes. That's just not what Toledo does. But we are confident. We're glad we're one of the few teams in the MAC that even have a returning starter at quarterback. So a 6-year guy like Tucker Gleason, he should be able to get the job done most games.
Yeah, and you're talking about the weapons that he has at wide receiver. Tell me a little bit about him. Is it Junior
Vandeross? Yep.
Junior Vandeross. Sorry about that. I had it on there just a second ago and it just went away.
Yeah, no, is
that his top target?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a freaky little athlete. If you can just get him the ball in space, he can do the rest. He wasn't a big touchdown guy last year, but like I said, we had a tight end we utilized a lot in the red zone. Another good wide receiver is now playing for the Denver Broncos, Jawan Newton. So it's his time to shine. We lost our 2 other big guys, but sometimes they say if you don't have one wide receiver, you have none. And we're glad we do have one really good one. And then on top of that, we brought in Northern Illinois' best wide receiver, Travion Rudolph. So he has over 2,000 yards in his career, 10 receiving touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns. He might be someone versatile enough to kind of run reverses with and stuff like that. So we expect him to be the number 2. And then the number 3, maybe coming into the year, was a true sophomore named Zamarian Lang. He did pretty good job in mop-up duty last year when we played like Duquesne and had some of our blowouts, and he tore his ACL. So we've got 4 or 5 guys right now working to be that taller, longer wide receiver, and we're just gonna have to see who that is. We've got some Power 4 like transfers. We're not gonna know until game 1 though.
Yeah, Vander Ross, he's a little was he like 5'8", I think he is, but he's a, pretty quick guy out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So before we get into, there's a position, I really don't know a whole lot about the quarterback or the wide receiver. I'm kind of familiar with the certain other position we'll get to in just a second, the running back room. But last year, I just want to mention Toledo, they finished 8-5 overall, including a win over an SEC opponent in Mississippi State. And they also won a bowl game against Pitt. So 2 wins last year over Power 4 conference teams.
Yeah, and those were the first ones under Jason Candle's tenure. But for him, before, he'd played 8-win Kentucky. He'd played 10-win Notre Dame, who we almost beat. He played 11-win Ohio State, 2 times 10-win Miami, Florida teams. It's like, geez, we just need a shot to play somebody that's not going to be a juggernaut. And Mississippi State was not very good last year, to be frank. But that Pitt win, that was big. They played their All-Americans. So we were happy to get that one in Detroit. Had a little home field advantage there for once against the power team. And now we've won 2 in a row. So for us, hopefully it's 3. But I know you guys have different ideas.
Yeah, we'll see. We don't have to talk about that right now. But hey, 2 in a row against Power 4 conferences. Even if it is a down Mississippi State team, you still get a win over an SEC school. And in the SEC, Mississippi State, they might not be the best, but they could compete with some teams in the SEC still. So, I mean, even if you get a win over them, and it was a beatdown. I mean, like 41-17.
Everything just went right. I mean, we were watching and we were like, we don't ever play like this against anybody. I partly had something to do with Mississippi State probably overlooking us a little bit, but yeah, hell of a win for our program.
Absolutely. So let's get into the running back room now, shall we? And for Toledo, one of the running backs you have is former Kentucky Wildcat, Michael Drennan. Donut, you thought I was going somewhere else.
You went way deep on the depth chart for that one.
So I'm guessing Donut is still like way down low on the depth chart for Toledo like he was at UK.
I think so. I know the first year he was there, he was kind of a scout guy, but he adds to a room with 7 or 8 guys that were really good in high school. So it always helps when you're practicing against guys who at least had a little bit of pedigree back then.
Yeah. So, I really, to be honest with you, I didn't know he was on Toledo's roster until I started looking into this a little bit. And I was like, oh, he's still playing. Like he was with Kentucky, like in COVID year. So, okay. So we'll talk about the other running back then. And that would be running back Chip Trayanum, the former Kentucky Wildcat, former Ohio State Buckeye, comes in. Last year, I had high hopes for him at Kentucky, and it just didn't pan out. His injuries really hurt him at the beginning of the season. He didn't really get to play much, and when he came in, he was kind of lost his spot to a couple of guys, Jason Patterson being one, and what's the other guy's name? I can't believe I just blanked on that. Jamarian Wilcox, yes, the freshman. So, and then when he came in, he just didn't seem to have it. How are you guys feeling about Chip Trayanum up there this year for Toledo?
Well, for the people that have seen him in like spring and summer workouts, they said he's just an absolute athletic freak. So to have another guy like that back in the program, I mean, Toledo has been a team that over the last 20 years, outside of 2 seasons, last year being one of them, they've had a 1,000-yard rusher. I've seen some Kentucky write-ups that are like, Toledo's not even going to try to run the ball. And it's like, you don't know anything about Jason Candle, because last year was an anomaly. We had 5 new offensive linemen. We only had 1 running back that played every game. We were just banged the hell up. So, he can't be worse than what we had last year at health. And our number 1 guy last year now has fallen to 4th on the depth chart. So that's good news. I think Chip's going to be absolutely fine. I expect, probably about 100 yards a game out of him. Maybe not against Kentucky, but if he can get double-digit touchdowns, that's a hell of a lot better than we had last year.
If he's healthy, I expect him to probably have a pretty big game against Kentucky. Just kind of that little revenge just to show, hey, this is what I could have done for you all last year. So this is what I'm going to do against you all this year.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. just a little chip on his shoulder. Yeah, absolutely. So, how was the offensive line for Toledo? How do they look?
Last year, they were horrible, but we were horrible because we had no returning starts. And we kind of knew that that was going to happen. We thought it would get, incrementally better over the season. And they kind of just had certain games where if the matchup was right and they could pass block the whole game, they were fine. But with the running back help, I mean, they had no chance. We were 50% on short yardage down, third and fourth, and 1 and 2. We were horrible. I mean, we just against Akron, I mean, geez, we couldn't punch it in from 5 different times in the red zone, and we ended up missing 3 field goals and lose to Akron. Like, that's not Toledo football. But this year we returned our 3 best guys from that line and then supplemented the rest with some good power 4 transfers. So I'm excited. I think they're going to be a lot better.
So there's been some reports Kentucky they're dealing with some injuries on the offensive side, notably running back Seth McGowan, who may be in the running for starting running back, and wide receiver Kendrick Law. Do you think that is Toledo? Do they have any injury concerns on the offense heading into the game?
Not that I've heard. Zamarian Lang is the one that I think it was like the last summer workout tore his ACL. So even through fall camp, we didn't have him. So I think we're pretty healthy, and knock on wood that the next week of prep, nothing else happens.
Yeah, there's still got a whole another week before we get to that. So hopefully everybody stays healthy heading into that and stays healthy through the game. So on the defensive side of the ball, who do we need to look out for Toledo on the defensive side? You said the strength is the secondary and the weakness is the linebackers.
Yeah. So we did graduate a safety that had over 350 tackles in his career, 7 picks. I mean, Maxon Hook was an absolute animal at safety position, but he kind of bred this fella, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. And if you played the video game, he's a 90 overall. The dude is possibly a first or second round safety at Toledo. And he kind of followed Quinyon Mitchell's playbook of, hey, I could take $1 million and go to Alabama, or I can still be a first round draft pick at Toledo. I mean, he is a stud. He's a tackler. He's a ball hawk. I would worry about him. And then at the corners, Avery Smith had 14 pass breakups last year. He's been an emerging star. I've seen a lot of NFL buzz for him. Braden Alls had 4 picks last year. He's a local kid who went to Toledo Central Catholic High School. He's been a ball hawk as well. I think there's legitimately those 3 players are all NFL talent. And then outside of that, the depth pieces, I mean, we brought in 2 kids from Wisconsin at corner that probably won't even play. I just don't think too many teams are even going to try to test us. But where we did lose some was we lost all of our tackles except for I think 20 tackles at the linebacker position. And then that player did get injured and I believe had a knee injury, Allison at linebacker. So now we're starting a kid by the name of Chris Dapolonia. And the good thing for him is he did make Bruce Feldman's top 101 freaks list. So he's still a big boy. He still can run and jump. He can bench a whole lot, squat a whole lot, but we're pretty unknown there. And the weaker part of the defense last year was the run defense, but it was kind of obscured by our one game against Ohio where their quarterback, it just runs every play. And they had another 1,000-yard rusher. So there wasn't a ton of good running backs even on the schedule. Desmond Reed from Pitt kind of lit us up, but it's Desmond Reed. I mean, he's a dog. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So they had at the beginning of this, I think, when the line first came out, I can't remember what it was. It was double digits.
It was a 12.
Was it 12? Yeah, it was 12. Now it's last I seen, it was bet down to 8.5.
Down to 7.5 now on ESPN.
Is it now down to 7.5? Wow. So it's, and I feel kind of the same way as what the lines are. I'm nervous about this game. I don't expect a whole lot out of Kentucky this season. I think they can get to 6 wins to get to a bowl, but obviously they have to win next week in order to get to that. But I'm nervous about it because you really don't know what you've got with Kentucky right now, like as we talked earlier. But Toledo, like you said, they've got a lot of guys coming back. They've got a lot of experience, consistency, and everything. How do you feel about this matchup? Do you feel like Toledo can pull it off? Are you expecting Toledo to pull this off?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think for you guys, you probably would have wished to have, Tennessee Martin or Eastern Michigan or whatever first, just to kind of
Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, kind of get the wheels, oiled a little bit. For us, I mean, the boys are going to be confident. They just went down to SEC country and did it with the Cowbells last year, so you got that. I just looked at the weather. It's not going to be 95 like it was last time we were down in Lexington, so that should help us. On our prediction preview, we got 5 guys, and 4 of us had wins. So It's kind of one of those games. I could see Kentucky winning the game by 10 for sure. If Tucker doesn't have one of his really good games, he's had some bad ones. And then if Trayanum's just not as dominant as we want him to be, and you guys have the chip on your shoulder that you guys have tackled him, 1,000 times in practice. If we don't get the run game going and we can't stop the run, it could get out of hand that way. But also last year, we were up 35-3 on Mississippi State. So we've seen it go the other way too. Me as a diehard, I'm confident. I don't want to be too confident, especially playing an SEC team.
Yeah, that's like I'm nervous as can be, and like you said, would they be familiar with tackling Chip like they was last year in practice? But a lot of those guys aren't there this year. I mean, they had a lot of guys leave. Several players on the defensive side gone. Several players on the offensive side gone. Just a whole revamped team, just about. And it'll be interesting to see how it is. So you think that they can win? They can cover that 7.5. And then, like you said, they're looking for revenge the week after against Western Kentucky.
Yeah,
at the Glass Bowl.
that'll be a huge game too. I mean, we were kicking their ass last year, and then there was an hour-and-a-half rain delay. The boys came back out in front of 500 fans, and the game just totally got flipped on its head. So that one hurt.
So was that the same day that was that the first game of the season when that happened?
No, it was week 4. So we were 3-0 and just came off Mississippi State. So that was,
okay.
I think maybe we got big heads, but just there was no excuse for that. That was one of the ones that the fans that don't like Jason Candle, they point to that one as a choke job, and we kind of did for what it is.
Yeah, I remember it was the first week of the season, I think, and Kentucky was playing. Who was it they was playing? Southern Miss, maybe. I can't remember who they played the first week last year. But it poured down rain, like it rained, and they had a big delay, and they didn't even finish the game.
We've had that happen here at Toledo too.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was the same week or not.
No, this was just a little isolated pop-up shower that just sat on top of the hill. It didn't even move on the radar. We were just sitting there in the stands like, all right, I guess we're going to have to wait this thing out. And they started the game and there was still lightning going on. So I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
So that's not the only team that they play this year. They also have Washington State at Washington State. But is that really considered a Power 4 school anymore? I mean,
I don't think so.
Really.
They lost Mateer to Oklahoma. They got a new head coach. They're basically just South Dakota State West now. But South Dakota State's a team that, to be frank, would win the MAC most years. FCS champs the last 2. I expect Wazoo to be a pretty decent team. Luckily for Toledo, we get Kent State the week before, so that's a bye. And then we got 10-day layoff before Northern Illinois after. So it's kind of a good travel spot if we're going to go all the way out west for that.
Yeah, that's a long ways out there. And I was always hoping last year, like when Washington State and Oregon State were in the same conference last year, they were still the Pac-12, that they had a conference championship game. I thought that would have been cool.
Well, they play each other twice. So that's a little scheduling quirk that they got. They play like week 10 and week 13. And I'm like, all right, we need to get Boise and them schools in there, at least have a real conference. So that'll be fun next year.
Yeah, add Utah State. Like, come on, just
don't
play each other. Play each other twice, and then go ahead and make it the conference championship 3 times. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, right? Especially in football.
As they say.
Well, man, do you have anything else you want to add on here about the game coming up next week or anything else?
You got any, I don't know, distillery or any recommendations when we're going to be down there? Because we've done it before. We've hit Jim Beam and done all this stuff around town. And last time we were in the donor lot, and we just got lucky with the connection. And this year we don't know where the hell we're going to be tailgating. So any Lexington or Nicholasville recommendations or a nice tailgate spot we can maybe find some like-minded folk down there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's plenty of spots to hit, just where you want to hit at. But the Bourbon Trail, did you guys hit the Bourbon Trail or anything when you were down there?
We did not.
There's all kinds of different places up here that where they distill the bourbon and everything like that, and there's all kinds of them that you can go to and have a day of it right there. But I don't know, 12:45 is a kind of early start for that, but afterwards maybe. But it all depends, I guess, if you win or lose. If you want to go doing that afterwards, I mean, either way, I mean, you could celebrate with the bourbon or you could drown your sorrows in the bourbon. Either way, it would work out.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're just looking to have fun. I mean, last time we were there, I swear, Kentucky is the nicest Power 4 fan base we've ever ran into. Everyone said, we like your team, congrats for, keeping it tied by halftime. And it was all fun banter. So can't wait to go hang out with Big Blue Nation again.
Yeah, I seen what was it? Some guy there was a Kentucky fan that posted something the other day on Twitter, I think, and you said something about it. I mean, I forgot what he said. He said something that was crazy.
It was Kentucky Football Nation. He has since blocked me on YouTube. I can't even chat in his lives. He said Toledo got 13 votes. That's one more than Auburn. How embarrassing is that for Auburn? And I'm like, you guys got none. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't
Yeah,
be throwing shade.
yeah. It's like Toledo's ranked. I think it was a 36. I think is what they are if you would go by that. Okay, and Kentucky's maybe 70th.
Yeah,
I mean,
whatever. It's funny.
Kentucky may beat Toledo, but I mean Toledo's going to have a better season than Kentucky. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, the AP poll doesn't matter, especially in week 0. It's just fun for us because if like we do have a New Year's Six bid possibly on the line, you win 2 games and you already had a little bit of hype coming in. Like Toledo could get on the national radar relatively quick if they put some good football together. So that's cool for us.
Absolutely, and I've always said like one of the things that gets me is early season rankings. Like, who cares what the preseason ranking is? If you look at the preseason ranking and you look at week 10, it is all completely different from that point in time till then. So it's just something fun to talk about in the off season. Basically, is all it is.
And it's probably bulletin board material for you guys, to be frank. So maybe we'd rather be under the radar. I don't know.
It could be. And speaking of under the radar, there hasn't been a whole lot of talk from Mark Stoops and company this offseason. They've been really quiet. So, and there's a meme going around. You may have seen the meme going around. It's motivated Mark Stoops, where he's smoking a cigarette, there's a fire behind him and everything. And he's just, I don't know, really motivated.
Yeah, it kind of seems like he wants the players to do the talking on the field. He's not trying to overhype it too much, but there's been some weird press conferences where he's like, they ask about Toledo and he just kind of says, we're still worried about ourselves. We're not turning to Toledo until Toledo week. And it's like, I'm sure Toledo started their prep on Kentucky maybe Tuesday. So we'll see where the advantage lies there.
Yeah, hopefully, they would get more than just a few days of prep in for Toledo, like that, maybe a couple of weeks, something like that.
We'll see.
But
I don't know.
It was a kind of a weird offseason for Kentucky, with Mark Stoops, one of his best friends, Vince Marrow, just taking up and going to be the GM of Louisville. And it's like, that was strange.
Yeah, Vince was the high school coach up here at Holland Springfield High School, right next to my house. And I watched him when he was the head coach at Springfield, and those kids are awesome. I mean, Eric Page was a Toledo legend, played in the NFL a little bit. He went there, and obviously he helped you guys recruit the state of Ohio over the last decade. Odd choice for him to go to Louisville. That makes me kind of think that maybe something's going on in the building there in Lexington.
Yeah, there was something going on there for sure. Now, they both say that they're still friends and everything. One of your friends goes to your rival something just don't add up there. Man, if he'd have went anywhere else, it'd have been fine. But now he's at Louisville, and it's like, okay, all right, that end of the year game is going to be much more exciting than what it already was.
Yeah, and if he's there for a few years, then he's just still going to recruit the same area that you guys are going for kids. So I don't know. It's odd.
And it's funny, right after he left, Kentucky, we've got this recruit, we got this recruit, we got this recruit, all kinds of a list, a whole bunch of rash of recruits just started, committing to Kentucky right after that. And it's like, wonder if that was planned or not. Coincidence?
Yeah,
I think
I don't know, but you guys will be fine. I promise that, as long as, there's no way you guys will fire Stoops, right? The buyout's too big.
Yeah, the buyout's too big. He's not going anywhere unless he goes on his own. A lot of Kentucky fans are wanting John Sumrall from Tulane. He used to be the linebackers coach here at Kentucky. He went to Troy, had success at Troy, and has had success at Tulane. And a lot of Kentucky fans are wanting him back. But Stoops isn't going anywhere unless Stoops wants to go. So there's no point in talking about that really, unless he's ready to go. Who knows?
If you ever got
Mark Stoops,
Summerall though, he's a great coach. That'd be a hit, I think.
Yeah, I would. And that's the thing. If Stoops doesn't leave, I've got a feeling Summerall's going to take a big school offer after this season. Is what I think, especially if he has the season that he had last year at Tulane. But, well, man, I think that about covers the game there from the Toledo side of things. Appreciate you coming on. And where can we find all your stuff at? YouTube, Spotify? It is the Midnight Blue and Gold Launchpad podcast?
Yep, that's correct. You can find us on X at MBG Launchpad. You can follow me at Dan Savage _live. We're pretty consistent with our posting. Our Kentucky preview comes out next Tuesday. So if you don't really care about the roster, you learned enough from it right here, that's all good. But go over it and watch the whole group as we focus on Kentucky, and I'll be down there on next Saturday.
Looking forward to it, man. We'll check it out. And thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. And we will see you all later.
Thank you.